Tonight, the Milwaukee Bucks will travel to Philly to take on the Sixers, and the problems are piling up for Milwaukee. They will now be without Giannis Antetokounmpo, who played some of the first half against Denver on Friday, but then went out with a calf strain. Doc Rivers said there is no timetable for his return. However, Giannis said he's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. The Bucks also have 5 of their past 6 games took an L. They're 3-11 without the Greek Freak so far this season. So it's just a lot of bad for Milwaukee. But we go back to the fact that the possibility of maybe them trading Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now we have this injury, Wendy. How does this injury impact Giannis and potentially a
Hold
trade?
on, before they speak. I miss my boys. Yeah. I miss my boys. It's good to see y'all, man. That's what I'm talking about right here. I just wanted to say to America, I've been with the football stuff, but everybody knows me in basketball. I'm with my boys right now, Shay. This is special. It's good to see y'all. It's good to see y'all. Go ahead, Wendy. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm just so happy right now.
We are not rushing the end of football season. You guys can take football for a few more months as far as we're concerned, but they are coming up against it in Milwaukee. And so when you see this injury, I think the common sense thing is, well, now the Bucks are screwed. But this actually, when you talk to folks around the league, may have opened a window for the Bucks to keep Giannis. And let me try to explain why. This team was not going anywhere this year. Now, whether or not they wanted to admit that, whether Doc Rivers wanted to admit that, or whether Giannis wanted to admit that is another story. They were 500 with Giannis in the lineup. As you mentioned, Shay, they're 3-11 without him. With Giannis now out, he cannot win any of the awards. This team is not going anywhere. They have a pathway, if they want, to pivot to a tank. Right now, if the season ended right now, they would have the 8th best chance to advance in the lottery. And they are going to get worse. And now it is absolutely true that they don't own their pick control this year. They have a swap, but the swap is with New Orleans, who has got, if not the worst record, the second worst record in the league. If the Bucks tank and tell Giannis to take the rest of the season off, they are giving themselves position with either their pick or New Orleans pick to have a top 5-6 pick, maybe 7-8 pick. And this summer, that right now they could only trade 1 first-round pick if they were trying to improve this team. If they wait till July, they could trade 3 first-round picks, and potentially they could draft a top player in this draft, and they could come back to Giannis and say, Giannis, will you reconsider? Now, the teams in the league still think that there's a chance that the Bucks are going to trade Giannis. In fact, Milwaukee was on the phone with Team Rivers, said yesterday, no timetable. Giannis says, I know it's 4 to 6 weeks. They said no timetable for a reason, to leave their options open.
Go ahead, Big Perk.
Whitney, respectfully, I don't want to hear about pathways or highways. It's time to exit. It's time to exit. It's time to end this relationship. And I don't want to hear about what could possibly happen. I don't want to hear about what could happen. I want to hear about it for sure. You know what a for sure is? You know what? They got this guy by the name of Alfred Şengün down there with the Houston Rockets right now. And when you look at the Rockets, they kind of in the thick of things, but they're not really showing that they could get past the OKC or San Antonio or Denver Nuggets. But if they make a move and go get Giannis Antetokounmpo and make a trade centered around Şengün and maybe throw in a guy like Torrey Eason and some picks, and you bring Giannis to the H-Town with KD and Amen Thompson, and you talk about moving a needle, because the Rockets went all in my opinion, as far as gambling and taking a bet when they traded for KD, and then they re-signed him, saying basically over the next 2 years we want to try to win the championship. Well, getting Giannis Antetokounmpo moves the needle more than Alfred Şengün, and you know I'm a huge Şengün fan. But who says no in that trade, S.A.? Does Milwaukee say no? I believe not. Okay, then. So if I'm Giannis and I'm the Bucks, instead of worrying about what the Pelicans might do and who controls this pick, I know what I could get from the H-Town right now, and I could get a guy that's proven, and that's on the rise, and that's in Alfred Şengün.
I totally agree with you, Big Perk. You got to make, first of all, let's get one thing out of the way. The Milwaukee Bucks have to make a move before this trading deadline. Do not wait until the summer. You got to make a move now, period, okay? The crowd was booing. Giannis is booing back. The love affair is over. You don't have – this is the problem. I understand that the Milwaukee Bucks have tried, but look at the roster around them. Look at the plus minus of these cats. When you take away, you take away Giannis and then AJ Green, and look at everybody else. Everybody else is a flagrant minus. You got cats that are minus 250, 280, 300 for crying out loud on their roster right now. When you talk about, they don't have anything around him, okay? Drew Holiday is gone, all right? Middleton's gone. Lillard's gone. You don't have the same point. You just look at this squad, they're done. And you put nothing around Giannis right now. It's time to end this. And you don't wait until this summer, okay? You do it now. The Houston Rockets, you brought up that. You absolutely have to consider that. He ain't going to the Knicks unless he says, I don't want to go anywhere but to the Knicks, and then the Knicks somehow, some way work out some multi-team deal in order to get him. But the point is, there are assets out there, whether it's from one source or multiple sources collaborating to make a deal like this happen. There are assets that you got to get. You the Milwaukee Bucks, you can't lose him for nothing. I know he's got a year before, 2 years from now, he's got a player option. But the fact is, he clearly doesn't want to be there, and you're not going anywhere with him. And the allure from the crowd in Milwaukee has dissipated dramatically, okay? We all know that. So because of that, this is a perfect opportunity to veer. Doc Rivers ain't going to be there. It ain't about him getting fired. Remember, when he first took the job, he sat up there and talked about 2-3 years max, and he was up out of here. He ain't trying to stick around for this. He's going to get his coaching pension and all. He's been around forever. All right, so he'll be all right. Find somebody, the right successor for the job. He'll move the hell on. He knows what time it is. You're the Milwaukee Bucks. It's about maximizing Giannis's potential in terms of the assets that he can get for you in return for his services. You have to do that now if you're the Milwaukee Bucks. There is no way around this. You do not wait for this summer. You do not wait until next year. You do it before this NBA trading deadline expires.
Okay, I want to come back to you, Wendy, really quick. By the way, the Bucks are free falling. We mentioned that. They've lost 5 out of their last 6. They're playing without their second leading scorer, and Kevin Porter Jr. He's out with an oblique injury. There's nowhere to go, it feels like, right now for the Bucks. Last week we talked to you, Wendy. Trade deadline, by the way, February 6th at 3 p.m. We're about a week away from that. It felt like the noise was getting louder and louder with Giannis, but now do you think that they could wait until the summer, or do you think that there might be a move before the deadline?
As you guys are describing how bad the Bucks are, I will just point out this is a team primed to tank. They are primed to tank. Their situation is right there, and no matter what they do with Giannis, their priority has to be the draft. Even if it's trading Giannis, they've got to prioritize the draft. This is a generational draft. They've got to try to start either, whether it's rebuilding or whether it's adding pieces to a Hail Mary to keep Giannis. It's going to be through the draft. I don't think this is likely, but it is not impossible that they could end up with a top 4 pick with their pick, because both their pick and the Pelicans pick end up in the top 4. That could happen. And so once you do that, you have to make the decision. Can we get a better deal for Giannis now, or can we get a better deal in the summer? And in a position like the Rockets have a lot to offer, Perk, but they can't offer a top 5 pick this year. The Bucks could set themselves up. If they trade for Şengün, they're going to start winning games. They got to forget about this season for the Bucks. The tank is now on the table for them. And the tank plus Giannis is what they're looking at.
Hold up, Wendy.
This is a team that's mortgaged itself. Yeah.
Wendy, did you just say they get Şengün, they're going to start winning games? They ain't winning with Giannis. What you mean they're going to start winning games with Şengün? They're going to lose with him?
They'll be 500. That's not going to help. Stephen A., they need to win like 4 more games the rest of the season. This is what Philly did last year. Look what happened with Philly last year. They lost like 31 of their last 35. They end up with VJ Edgecombe. Look what happened with Dallas last year. They lose Kyrie. They shut down AD. They end up with Cooper Flag. Now, that required some fortune. It's not a guarantee. But look at how their situations are completely different. Now, the Mavericks have gone sideways. I can't even get into that. But that is a pathway for this team has mortgaged everything to keep Giannis. They have done everything. This is actually something that isn't insane.
Hasn't worked over the last 4 years. They only won 1 playoff series. They won 1-9 in the last 10 playoff series. Go ahead, Big.
So Wendy, I think what I'm reading correctly, it says that Giannis injured his calf on Friday. It don't look like, to me, it says that he tore his Achilles and he's out for the season with season-ending surgery. So that means Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to come back. Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to play basketball. Why am I highlighting this?
Why would he?
Because it's time for Giannis. But I'm saying, Giannis, it's time. You said last week that the Bucks are basically calling Giannis's bluff. Well, Giannis need to go ahead and stand on this and tell him that he wants out right now. We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, a generational talent. And this is my message to Giannis. Hey, bro, no one is going to be mad at you. You have done everything for the city of Milwaukee. Everything. Champion.